Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are pulling back the curtain on the design of everyday objects. We're going to look at this sort of secret checklist that designers use for everything, from the phone in your hand to the chair you're probably sitting on right now. So let's dive in. You've totally been there, right? You grab a tool and it just feels right in your hand, while another one feels clumsy and awkward. Or you open an app and it's super intuitive, but the next one makes you want to, just throw your phone out the window. Well, that difference? It's not an accident. It is 100% intentional. It all comes down to design. So what is the secret sauce then? What's the real difference between a product that's brilliant and one that's, well, a total dud? It actually boils down to one surprisingly simple but really powerful idea. And that's it, right there. Fitness for purpose. You can think of it as the North Star for every single designer. Before they even think about cool features or slick colors, a product has to do the job it was made for. I mean, a beautiful raincoat that doesn't actually keep you dry, that's just bad design. This is the absolute bedrock of everything else. Okay, but how do you figure out a product's true purpose in the first place? Well, you have to start with the single most important piece of the puzzle, the person who is actually going to use it. Seriously, before a single line is sketched, this is the first, and you could argue the most critical, question a designer has to answer. Because you just can't design in a vacuum, right? You have to be completely obsessed with understanding your audience inside and out. And it makes perfect sense when you think about it. You wouldn't design a heavy-duty power saw with the same grip and weight for a professional construction worker as you would for someone who just does a little DIY at home on the weekends. Knowing your user's age, their background, even their physical abilities, that stuff shapes every single decision from that point on. All right, so once a designer has a really clear picture of who they're designing for, then they can move on to the practical stuff, the checklist that helps turn a cool idea into a real thing you can hold. And this first question on the practical list, it ties right back to our user. Based on what they need, what exact problem are we trying to solve here? What, precisely, is this thing supposed to do? See, a product has to be a real working solution. It's just that simple. It has to deliver on its main promise. A coffee machine that only makes lukewarm coffee has failed, no matter how amazing it looks on your counter. It's not fit for its purpose, and guess what? It's not going to sell. But just having a great workable idea isn't quite enough. In the real world, a product isn't created in a bubble, and that brings us to the big, unavoidable question of money. Now, cheaper can mean a couple of things here. It could be a straight-up lower price tag, sure, or it could mean it offers way better value for the money. But the bottom line is, if your competitor is solving the same problem just as well but for less money, you've got a major design challenge to overcome. Okay, so the product works, it's a solution, and the price is right. But there's another point on this checklist that is an absolute deal breaker. Is it safe? Safety is not a feature, it's a basic requirement. Great design actually anticipates how things could go wrong and gets rid of those dangers from the very beginning. No sharp edges on a children's toy, no exposed wires on an appliance. Protecting the user is always, always priority number one. So the product is safe, but is it actually comfortable? Is it easy to use? That's where this next word comes in, ergonomics. It's basically the science of making things fit the human body and how we move, so that using them feels totally natural and efficient. And here is a perfect, everyday example of great ergonomics. Just look at this simple can opener. The handles are actually shaped to fit in your hand, not to fight against it. That turning knob is nice and big, so you can get a good grip without straining your fingers. Every single part of it is designed to work with you. That is the soul of good ergonomics. But a truly great design doesn't stop with just you, the individual user. The best designers, they zoom out. They consider where the product fits into the wider world. And a big part of that is how it looks. It's aesthetics. And this is not just about making things look pretty. Aesthetics are about creating an emotional connection. It's about making something that people don't just like to use, but that they're actually proud to own. And this brings us to the final, and you could say most important layers of design. So beyond the basics, designers today have to ask much bigger questions. Does this thing actually have a positive effect on society? And what about the environment? A truly great design thinks about its entire life, from using recycled materials to what happens when it eventually gets thrown away. Whew! Okay, so We've covered a lot of ground, but let's boil all of this down into a simple, really powerful toolkit that you can use to look at any product you come across. And here it is, your 5-point design check. First, the user. Who is this for? Second, the problem. Does it actually solve it? Third is usability. Is it safe and easy to use? Fourth, aesthetics. Does it look and feel good? And finally, the big one, impact. What effect does it have on the world? And don't think for a second these are just casual questions. These 5 points, they are the absolute backbone of formal professional design processes, like a methodology called IDMEC. It just shows that these simple checks are really how the pros build the products we all know and love. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Just take a look around you right now, wherever you are. Using that 5-point checklist we just went through, what's the best designed object you can see? And why? Give it a thought. The answer might actually surprise you.